Namaste everyone. I hope you all are doing well, remaining healthy and happy. And I am happy to join you today. And we will be discussing the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gita describes the mental breakdown of Arjuna. The mental breakdown of Arjuna. And you can feel certain empathy to Arjuna's condition. Whatever Arjuna goes through in the battlefield of Kurukshetra as an echo in our state of mind today under the threat of the corona pandemic. We also are going to tremendous distress, confusion, conflict of interest, conflict of duties. And therefore, a reflection upon Arjuna's state of mind is very valid to understand our own state of mind very deeply. Arjuna is not a stranger to us. Arjuna is a protagonist in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is not a stranger to us. There is an Arjuna in each one of us. Arjuna, the very name Arjuna shows that he was a straightforward, honest person. That's the meaning of Arjuna. Rijitvad Arjuna. A straightforward, honest, law-abiding citizen, and which we all are. And in the battlefield, Arjuna was a warrior turned worrier. We have seen that. A warrior turned worrier. He comes to the battlefield of Kurukshetra to fight, to win the battle. Because he has a just cause. Injustice was done to him by the powers that be. Now he wants to secure justice, if necessary, by fighting. He was ready to negotiate, discuss, and solve the dispute, but the antagonist, his opponent, Duryodhana, was not ready for any compromise. So he was left with no other option but to fight. But we all know that fighting is not a solution to human problems. War is not a solution to human problems. War may be unavoidable, but it doesn't solve any problem. That is the confusion that Arjuna was going through. He was forced to fight this battle, but he knows that this battle will not solve any problem. Not only that, it will not solve problem. As it was said by wise men, wise people, war doesn't decide who is right. War only decides who is left. Ultimately, maybe a few people left behind. That was true in this case also. At the end of the Mahabharata war, there was only 10 people left in the family. Both families. On Duryodhana's side, 3 people. On Arjuna's side, only 7 people. So this was Arjuna's confusion. He was forced to fight this battle, but he knows the battle will not solve any problem. Now how do we go about it? This was Arjuna's problem. So in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita discusses Arjuna's confusion, inner conflict, and the final mental breakdown. He came into the battlefield to fight and win, but then he found himself wanting in motivation. He found that he was not motivated to fight the battle because it doesn't solve any problem. So the Bhagavad Gita begins with this in a dramatic way. Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveda, Yuyusavaha, Mamaga, Pandavaschaiva, Kimakurvata Sanjaya. It just begins with a question from Dhritarashtra, the blind patriarch. Dhritarashtra asks Sanjaya, his minister, what happened in the battlefield? What happened? I heard that these two armies are almost in the battlefield. They are ready to fight. The arrows have started moving, fighting. The other arrows have already started flying across. What has happened? This was how the Bhagavad Gita begins. Dharmakshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveda, Yuyusavaha, Mamaga, Pandavaschaiva, Kimakurvata Sanjaya. What did they do? Did they fight or did they settle the dispute in an amicable, non-violent way? This was his question. This is how the Bhagavad Gita begins. Then we find Bhishma taking the war bugle and sounding the war bugle. The battle has started now. The arrows have started flying. Then we find Arjuna entering into the sea, driven by Krishna in a golden chariot, driven by white horses. It's all started in a very dramatic way. So he comes to the battlefield, Arjuna, in his chariot, driven by Krishna. Then he says, place my chariot between the two armies. Let me see with whom I am going to fight. So when Arjuna gave that command, Krishna drives the chariot and places right between the two armies. Then he surveys the armies from the height of the chariot. When he surveyed the two armies, what does Arjuna find? He is going to fight with his own people. It is going to be a bloody civil war. And what will be the outcome? So as an aggrieved party, he wanted to get justice and he was ready to fight. But as a statesman, he found this war is not going to solve any problem. Today in America, we are going through the same situation. Here is an aggrieved party, injustice was done to them. But what is the way of securing justice? What can you do? Looting? Or attacking people? What's the way to get justice? So Arjuna as an aggrieved party wanted to secure justice. At the same time, on the other side, there was a statesman in Arjuna. Arjuna finds this battle is not going to solve any problem. Then he said, suddenly he changed his mind. Arjuna said, I don't want to fight this battle. Though he was preparing, his party was preparing for this battle, and Arjuna was quite capable. He is not a untrained person. He was a highly trained person, quite capable, well educated, wealthy, well travelled. There are a lot of epithets for Arjuna. Parantapa. Parantapa means very successful person. Dhananjaya, very wealthy person. Gudakesha, very disciplined person. And he was highly motivated also because injustice was done to him. With all this motivation, he comes to the battlefield. Then he surveys the army. Then suddenly he says, I am not going to fight. Nagangshe Vijayam Krishna. I don't want this victory. I don't want to engage in this battle. I don't want this victory. Nagangshe Vijayam Krishna. Narajyam Sukhanicha. Nor do I want the kingdom, nor the kingly pleasures. I want to become a sannyasi, a renunciate. I want to run away. This is what he says. And he drops his weapons. Tushnim Babuva. This was Arjuna's situation. So we are going to discuss the mental breakdown of Arjuna. What happened actually? What were the causes? It was something like a CEO breaking down in a board meeting. Simply breaks down. Does not know what to do. Or a first class BA student crying in the examination hall, let us say. Does not know what to do. Or a medical officer, a doctor, refusing to go to the hospital because of fear of maybe coronavirus. I don't want to go to the hospital. And he has been trained for this duty. The whole life he has been trained. At the end of the day he says, I don't want to fight. This is a situation that we find in the battlefield. So let us analyze, let us reflect Arjuna's state of mind, the reason, the causes which led him to this state. Let's not think that Arjuna was weak in mind. He was not weak. He was a strong person. Then what was the problem? It was not a mental weakness. It was a confusion, mental confusion. Conflict of ideas, different demands on his energy, mental energy. So he was not a weak person, he was a strong person. Sometimes strong people collapse. Sometimes strong people get confused. So let us analyze what was the reason for Arjuna's mental collapse or confusion. There are two slokas very interesting in the first chapter, and this Arjuna's confusion is described in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and that description goes to the second chapter also. So from the first chapter to the second chapter, if you read till the 10th sloka, that whole chapter is a discussion of Arjuna's mental confusion. Arjuna says, Evam ukto Arjuna sange ratoho bastav bhavishad. He just sat down on the floor of the chariot. Visrijya sasharam chabam. He threw away his weapon. And Arjuna was a very trained archer. He threw away his weapon and he sat down on the bed of the chariot. Visrijya sasharam chabam. It's like a student in the examination hall throwing away the pen. Or a doctor throwing away his stethoscope, let's say. This is what happened. So, Visrijya Sasharam Chabam, Shoga Samvikna Manasaha. His mind overwhelmed with grief. So, I told you, the yoga of grief. The integration involved in disintegration. That's the meaning of yoga of grief. When your mind is disintegrated, confused, that's an opportunity for you to discover a different state of integration. Every crisis is an opportunity. For that we have to be reflective. So Arjuna says that Visrijya Sasharam Chabam Shoga Sambhigna Manasaha. Having thrown away his weapons, grief stricken, and his eyes floating in tears, he says, Nayosya yidi Govinda. And he told Krishna, I'm not going to fight. He came to the battlefield to fight, but now he says, I'm not going to fight. Nayosya yidi Govindam ukta tushnim babuva. Arjuna sat down, quiet. He stopped talking, he started crying, and he sat down quiet. Do you see have you gone through any such experiences where completely mentally collapsed, confused, don't know what to do. And then you raise both your hands and call for some divine help. We all have gone through such states. Reason may be different. There may be different reasons, but we have gone through. So let us empathize with Arjuna and see some similarity with our condition and Arjuna's condition. So what were the causes? And how Arjuna himself describes his situation. Arjuna himself describes his situation. And that is very beautifully said by Arjuna in the first chapter, Siddhanti mama gatrani. When you go through this state of mind, how do you physically experience that? This is how you experience. Siddhanti mama gatrani. My body is on fire, he says. Siddhanti mama gatrani. Mukham cha parishushadi. My mouth is dry. Vebaduscha sharire me. My body is trembling. Roma harshacha jai. I feel cold. I get cold feet, don't you say that? Roma harshacha jayate. Gandivam sramsade hasta. The Gandiva, the bow and arrow, is slipping through my fingers. Gandivam sramsade hasta. Tapchaiva paridashyate. My whole body is burning, he says. Nimittani japashyami. And I see bad omens. I'm not sure what I'm doing is right. So, nimittani japashyami. Na just shakromi avastadum. I'm not able to stay steady. I'm going to collapse now. And he did collapse on the bed of the chariot. So this is in Arjuna's own words. His physical and mental condition in the battlefield. So it is very important that we understand the causes which led to Arjuna's confusion, so that we understand our own condition now. We all must have gone through this situation once or at least once in a lifetime. So what are the causes? I would like to use Arjuna's own words. The first thing he said was, Swajanam Krishna, these are my own people. Unfortunately, I have to fight with my own people. I never wanted that. I always try to avoid this battle. But now I am forced to come to the battlefield to fight with my own people. So the Swajana is a key word in Arjuna's vocabulary. Arjuna says, I am forced to fight with my own people. Swajana. So what is wrong with fighting your own people? Why are you so much worried about that? Because if I fight with my own people, I will be destroying the kula and the family. The family will be destroyed. And the family dharma will be destroyed. And the values of the family will be destroyed. When the values of the family destroyed, the women go berserk, he says. That is his argument. You may agree with him or not. The women will have no security, no home, no stable home. When there is no stable home, women have no security. The children will not be educated properly. Children will have no role model. And the whole family will be destroyed, will perish. And this is ahobeda mahat papam. This is a great sin which I am going to do. I don't want to fight this battle. This is Arjuna's own words. I don't want to fight this battle. And he threw away the weapon and sat on the bed of the chariot. What happened? What was the reason? What happened to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra? What is the reason for his mental breakdown? What I find is, the main reason is Arjuna's inability to reconcile two values. What were those two values? On one side, he has to secure justice, and for which he has to fight. On another side, he has to preserve the values of the family, of the country, of his community. And you find a direct conflict between these two values. It's a breakdown of values. And as a result of that, Arjuna said, I'm not going to. I would rather be killed than killing these people. If I am killed, all my problems are solved. I don't want to kill these people. I would rather be killed. So let us say Arjuna did not want to be a martyr for peace, nor did he want to be a murderer for justice. I repeat, Arjuna did not want to be a martyr for peace. What do you mean by martyr for? If you sue for peace, then Duryodhana will be taking over the kingdom, and then you will be hunting him down. So Arjuna don't want to be a martyr, to become a martyr for peace. Nor did he want to be a murderer for the cause of justice. So these were the two values that he was struggling with. Should I sue for peace or should I fight this battle? So this was the grief that Arjuna was going through. He could not decide what is right. And he says in very many words, Dharma sammudha cheda. I am confused between what is right and wrong here. It seems it's a very convoluted, confused, and mixed up situation. Because there are some good people on the other side, Bhishma, Drona, some bad people on our side also. It's not a clear black and white situation. These days this is a grey situation, not a clear black and white situation. In grey situation, decision making, there will be collateral damage. If I put a bomb, not only the army people, military people will die, even civilians will die. The collateral damage. There are some good people here, some bad people there. And I don't know how to separate this. So, Arjuna says, it's very, very confusing. Dharma sammudha cheda. I'm really confused. Suppose your mother and wife are fighting, let us say. Mother on one side, wife is on another side. They are fighting. What side you will choose? It depends. The only side you can choose is open the back door and run away from home and go to some ashram and sit there. Because it's very difficult to take sides between the mother and the wife. Wife has given up everything and married you. Mother is the one who brought you into this world. And if they are fighting, it is very difficult to take sides. That is the time you think of taking sannyas. Arjuna also thought of taking sannyas. Visrijya sasaram chavam, shoga samvigna manasaha, utterly grief-stricken, tears are rolling down from his eyes. He says, it is very difficult for me to make up my mind. He is totally paralyzed, he says. The paralysis of Arjuna. Not only mental breakdown, he is totally paralyzed. That too in the middle of the battlefield. If it is in the privacy of his bedroom, that is okay. Just in the middle of the battlefield, when the floodlights of all the media people are on, and it is being live broadcast, that's the time he is collapsing in the battlefield. And he is the main fighter, main leader. The leader himself collapsed. So he said, Dharma sammudha chedaha. I am thoroughly confused between what is right and what is wrong. And I'm sure we all are going through this situation now. We don't know what is right. Is livelihood or life? Under the corona pandemic, the greatest problem is, should I choose livelihood, meaning your jobs, or lives of people? What will I choose? So dharma sammudha chedaha, that's a very interesting word that Arjuna uses. Dharma sammudha chedaha. Karpunya dosho bhagata sabhava, he says. Kripanada means wretched. I feel very wretched. I feel completely lost. So karpunya dosho bhagata, feeling wretched, I feel low self-esteem now. I don't know. Am I going to take the right decision? And this confused situation, I will not be able to take the right decision. So there are three interesting words that Arjuna uses. One word is shoga. Other word is vishada. Third word he uses is kripa. He's explaining his own mind, his confused mind. Kripa means pity. Pity means utter helplessness. I don't know whom to pity. Should I pity me, my condition? Or should I pity Bhishma and Drona? Or should I pity Duryodhana? Duryodhana may have his own reasons not to surrender any piece of land to me. Duryodhana may have his own reason. Bhishma may have their own reason. So what he felt was a sense of pity, utter helplessness. Kripa is the word he used. Kripaya paraya vishtaha. I am overwhelmed by the situation. And I cannot blame anybody. Everybody seems to have their own reason. Is in a reflective mood, you cannot be aggressive. You cannot take side. That's the meaning of reflection. When you're caught between horns of a dilemma, you reflect. Reflection means what? You don't blame anybody. Our normal tendency is to blame everybody, isn't it? I blame my parents, or I blame God, or I blame the government. That's our normal tendency, to react. But here Arjuna is reflecting, contemplating. Contemplation means bring different perspective to shine upon a problem. So Arjuna brings different perspective to shine upon a problem. Not only from his standpoint, he also thinks of Duryodhana's standpoint, Bhishma's standpoint. Various perspectives are brought in to shine upon the situation. That's the meaning of reflection. In reflection, you don't blame anybody for a problem. You cannot even blame God. God is supposed to be compassionate and all-knowing and all-powerful. So he cannot be creating this problem. Then who creates the problem? Government cannot create the problem. You have not contributed to the problem. So that's the meaning of reflection. Reflection means don't blame anybody. Let us objectively look at the issue. So as a result of reflection, what you feel is pity. The human condition is such. It seems there is no solution to our problem. If I offer a solution here, I'll be creating another problem there. Is it not? You offer a solution, then you are in the process creating another problem. And then solving that problem, you create another problem. So in this state of deep reflection, Arjuna brings in different perspective to shine upon the issue. Then he is not able to blame anybody. He only feels pity for everybody. He feels pity for himself. I would call it the human condition is that. This is the human condition. There is no permanent solution for any problem. Because if you sit in the problem, you cannot solve the problem. You have to get out of the problem. Look at the problem from a detached perspective. But here Arjuna is aggrieved party, he is part of the problem. Therefore he found himself hemmed in, caught in the horns of a dilemma between the devil and the deep sea. As a statesman, he doesn't want this war. But as an aggrieved party, he wants to fight and win the battle and get justice. This was Arjuna's situation. He became deeply reflective and he started blaming himself for the problem. How is he blaming himself? I am a wretched person. Kripanaha. It's my problem. Sometimes you do that, isn't it? Me, I am the problem. You take upon yourself and then you break your head down. That's what Arjuna says. Karpanya dosho bahadusvabhava prichami tvam dharma sambodhacheda. I'm asking you, I'm completely confused. In such a situation, normally what do we do when you're utterly confused? Either you take a couple of drinks, isn't it? That's what we do. You drown the problem in a couple of drinks. Or take a sleeping pill, sleep it off. Or take a gun and turn it towards your head. Let me quit. Or you take a gun and shoot 10 people. Because these are all reactions. But what did Arjuna do? Arjuna, this crisis, the mental breakdown, this confusion, made Arjuna think in a different way. That's what I said, the yoga of grief. If grief makes you reflect, take stock of the whole situation, deep reflection, bring different perspective, rather than reacting. These are the reactions I told you. Taking a couple of drinks, or taking a sleeping pill, or shooting yourself, or shooting others, or turning on the TV, so that you can get some distraction. Instead of doing all that, Arjuna became deeply reflective. And as I told you, reflection means bringing different perspectives. If necessary, taking the blame upon yourself. That's what Arjuna did. Karpanya dosho bhadasvabhava. So one word he used was pity. I feel pity, he says. I feel pity for myself, pity for everybody. Another word he used was vishada. Vishada means grief. What is the meaning of grief? Grief means that you lost something which you love. When you lose something which you love or which you value, it can be a person, it can be a thing, then you feel grief. Or you feel betrayed by a trusted friend. You trusted him, you did everything for him, you invested in him, then he betrays you. Then you feel grief. You curse yourself. So either it's a loss of a valuable person, is death, untimely death, or a valuable thing, you lost all your money, or you lost your reputation. That also can cause grief. So Arjuna felt tremendous grief because he knows he is going to lose these people. He may gain kingdom, but he is going to lose a lot of good people. Therefore, he was grief-stricken. He used the word vishada. He also used the word shoga. Shoga means sorrow, sadness. Sadness is when you don't find a solution to a problem. All the solutions are equally unacceptable. There are only two solutions, either fight or run away. Both are unacceptable. That is a state of shoga. Shoga means sadness. You become very sad. When you reflect upon the human condition, that is what happens. We feel helpless. We feel powerless. We feel there is no end to our suffering. That's what happened to Arjuna. So he says, Nakamshe Vijayam Krishna, Narajyam Sukhanicha, Kinno Rajyena Govinda, Kim Bhogair Jividenva. What will I do with this success? This success is worthless. This success is meaningless. Arjuna lost the purpose, meaning, and motivation. Of course, he was preparing himself for this war. He even went to Himalayas and meditated upon Shiva, and he got new weapons, and then he was preparing himself. But suddenly, in the battlefield, he completely lost his purpose. This is a modern problem that we all are facing. We lose purpose and meaning and motivation. Because it seems that no solution works. Finally, you elected Trump, isn't it? Trump has become a big problem. I'm sorry for saying this. Whatever solution you offer, none of the solution works. Arjuna had only two solutions, either fight or withdraw. Both are unacceptable. Withdrawing means you are failing in your duty. Fighting means it's very expensive, very costly. Then what will I do? That is the time you feel, I am really wretched. He used the word, Karpanyopakadasabhava. I lost my purpose. I lost my meaning. I don't know what to do. But in the process, in that confusion, in that reflective mode, Arjuna's mind thought of some new solution. Suddenly, he discovers a new purpose and meaning in life. Arjuna says, what I need is Shreyas. What I need is Shreyas. Shreyas is peace of mind. Shreyas is happiness. I don't need wealth. I don't need power. I don't need pleasures. I don't need name. I don't need fame. Because these are the values which normally we are fighting for. Isn't it? These are the values we are fighting for. Money, power, pleasure, name, fame. Sri Arjuna says, I don't need any of this. It is a big discovery, I tell you. Because these are the things everybody is running after. Isn't it? These are the values which you are ready to fight and kill people. These are the values, these are the things for which you are ready to lie, which you are ready to compromise with your values. Money, power, pleasures, name, fame. But here suddenly he says, my God, this is not what really we need. We as human beings, we need really peace of mind. At this point, my mind is in pieces. Don't you say that? My mind is in pieces. When your mind is in pieces, you want to show peace of your mind. What I need is real peace. I want to rest. What I need is real joy. A joy where a loving community. A community where we all are sharing resources, happily coexisting. That's what I need. So this crisis afforded an opportunity for Arjuna to reflect on the kind of life he was leading so far and suddenly discover Shreya, yes, Shreyasya tad nishchidam brahme. That Shreyas is a very important word. Shreyas means well-being. Shreyas means peace of mind. Shreyas means happiness. Shreyas means a peaceful community. That's what I need. And I don't think the war can solve this problem. So we also When we go through Arjuna's situation, we also are reliving our own inner confusion. We have been successfully covered all those confusions. We have been successfully suppressed all those confusions. You may say, no, I don't have any confusion. I don't have any problem. Because you have pushed down all these problems and pretend that you are okay. This pretense will not last long. We all will go through this problem. One day or other, we are going to discover we have been leading a wrong life. This is not what I want. We have been driving to a wrong direction all this while. We all are going to discover that. So here, Arjuna discovers a new value. Said, what I need is a shreyas, peace of mind. And how do I get it? This is what Arjuna asks. Krishna, Yas shreyasya nischidam bruhime, shishyasteham shadimam prapanna. Arjuna now discovers an open mind. His mind is open now. So grief makes you humble, vulnerable. Grief is not a bad thing. Grief and sorrow, sadness, when you recognize it, you feel you are vulnerable, you become humble, and humility means an open mind. That's what I said. This grief is a yoga for Arjuna. He lifted his mind up. He started thinking on a new direction. He discovered a new value in his life. Don't we say these days, the conflict between GDP, gross domestic product, and gross domestic happiness. Do you need a product for consumption or you need happiness for experience? Arjuna discovers, Yas shreyasya nischidam bruhime, shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanna. I am your disciple. I want to learn. I am ready to learn now. So far Arjuna was ready to teach everybody because Arjuna was teaching Krishna also. The whole first chapter is a big lecture by Arjuna to Krishna. Krishna was listening carefully. Krishna did not say anything. This also is very important. If you are a good counselor, you should learn how to listen, not how to preach. By preaching, you don't reach somebody's heart. So Krishna was listening. Arjuna's soliloquy or monologue. Arjuna was talking. And finally, he became quiet. And he said, I am ready to learn. So, what is required is a learning state of mind, an observing, watchful state of mind, which Arjuna discovers at the end of the first chapter. He says, Shadhimam tvam prapanna. Please teach me. I am ready to learn. I am ready for a new life. So far I have been leading a material life. And that led me to this situation. I am ready for a new life. So instead of becoming negative, Arjuna became positive. Maybe because Lord Krishna was beside him. And that could have been an influence for Arjuna. Teach me what is good for me. I am ready to learn. So you also have to develop that learning mind, an open mind. Ano Bhadra Kradavo Yanda Visuddha. Let noble thoughts come from all sides. I am ready to learn. I am ready to update myself. I am ready to reinvent myself. This is calamity which happened in my life, this confusion which I am going through, is an opportunity for me. I am ready to learn. Teach me, Lord. This is where we find Arjuna. So he cries, tears are rolling down his cheeks, his body is shaking, he threw away his weapons, he sat on the chariot shamelessly. Otherwise Arjuna would not have done that. Arjuna was a very proud, brave man. And suddenly he broke down and he started crying. That also in the front of all the cameras, I should tell you. Everybody is watching him. Everybody is watching him. That is crying. He shamelessly cried, helplessly cried. I think this is very important in your spiritual journey. An ability to cry. An ability to be vulnerable. Not pretending that I am okay. That only pretense. So we have to go through this dark night. We have to go through these troubles. We have to go through these difficulties. Then alone we will be forced to think in a different way. So Arjuna goes through it. Become aware of that. He's not putting a carpet over that. He's admitting it in full view of everyone. That I am done. I am finished. I cannot carry on like this. I have to take a different direction in life. So Arjuna is repurposing himself, reorganizing himself for a second birth, let's say. So that's what I said. This grief of Arjuna is a yoga. It's an opportunity. It opens a new window to his life. So therefore, when you face such crisis in life, such a conflict, dilemmas in life, not knowing where to go, we need a third way. Not the two way, this way, that way, my way, or all the way to the highway. It's not like that. When you face such a situation, left or right, where should I go? Then there should be a third way. So Arjuna asked for the third way. These two ways are not acceptable to me. What are the two ways? Either fight or withdraw. Not acceptable to me. So Arjuna puts it that way. Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum vaishyam abhikaloge atvartagamanstu guru niheva bunjiya bhogan rudhira pradiktan. I don't want to fight with these people. I'm ready to live on alms, he says. I'm ready to go to the street and beg and live on alms. Then on the other side he says, how can I do that? That will be a dereliction of duty. That will be running away. I don't want to be such a person. So I don't know whether to kill or to be killed. Both are unacceptable, isn't it? So those are the situations. When you are in a fork on the road, should I take left or right? Both are unacceptable. So Arjuna asked for a third way. So there is a third way. That's the way of Bhagavad Gita. That's the way of spirituality. There is a third way. You don't have to be always in this conflict. What is that third way is the question, big question. Arjuna pauses at the end of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna, that's what I said. Grief become a yoga for you. This inner collapse become an opportunity to rebuild your life, rebuild the society, rebuild the community. Every calamity is a door to a new possibility, new opportunity. And for that, we must be ready to reflect. So far, we have been reacting. When a situation arises, you react. But now, Arjuna become reflective. It's a contemplative action. That I would say the message of Bhagavad Gita. Contemplative action, not reaction. Reaction means you are impulsively doing something and then regret later. Don't we say that? Hastily you react and leisurely you regret. Instead of that, let us develop this reflective attitude. And when you reflect, you will always see a third way. What is the third way? That is what I call the spiritual way. is not just a morality. It is not just ethics. Morality is always dharma and adharma. Arjuna says, I don't know what is dharma, what is adharma here. It is very difficult to differentiate between dharma and adharma. So third way is the spiritual way, which is beyond goodness and badness. And from the spiritual way, when you are rooted, you will be able to see things totally different. So Arjuna asks, so this is a key word, yashreyasya nishchidam bruvime shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. And then the Bhagavad Gita starts the teaching. So let us reflect deeply on our own inner confusion. Don't suppress it. Don't push it down. Because when you push down your own confusion, we all are going through this confusion, various ways. So first of all, to understand Bhagavad Gita, the message of Bhagavad Gita, we should understand our own inner confusion, the dilemmas that we are going through, the insoluble problem. So these days they are talking about cognitive therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. What is cognitive behavioral therapy? In my understanding, cognitive behavioral therapy is when you are utterly confused, when you lost your way, when you lost the purpose of life, then you go to a counselor and he gives you a new way of looking at life. A new way of looking at life. And from the new way, you gain again energy and you are ready to go. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Or neuro-linguistic programming. That's another phrase I hear these days. A rewiring of your brain. A new way of looking at problems. So Krishna was a great counselor, a great healer. And Arjuna had the advantage of having Krishna by his side. It also shows, not only you admit your limitation, you also will be willing to listen to the other, consult with the other. You may not be able to solve all your problems by yourself. A mentor is necessary. That's what we find in the first chapter. You need a mentor. Maybe a psychologist. But the problem is psychologists have their own problems. When you go to a psychologist, he may pretend that he is advising you, but he is going through his own problems. So you need a mentor, capable mentor. You need a good counselor. Always have a mentor. Someone with whom you can bounce your ideas. Someone with whom you can discuss your problem. When two heads get put together, there is a better solution, isn't it? So don't put all your problems in the backyard of your mind. Discuss with another person. Have someone to. Because we all have this problem. We are all caught on the horns of a dilemma. We don't know which way to go. So admit it. Recognize it. So by studying Arjuna's confusion, we are reflecting upon our own confusion. It is not that you are objectively looking at Arjuna. It's not an objective study. It is a subjective study that Bhagavad Gita offers. It is a Bhagavad Gita mirror held to you. You can look into that and see what is going on in your own mind. So don't say that this is Arjuna's problem. Our own problem. Our daily problem. So we are looking for a third way by the study of Bhagavad Gita, where you can create win-win solutions. We can create positive sum game. We can play positive sum game. Where there are no victims, only winners. All of us can be winners. As they say, to exist is to coexist. Otherwise, you are creating only a cycle of violence. I kill my enemy and his son kills me. This way, we are only perpetuating a cycle of violence. Is there any way of solving problems where all stakeholders are happy? This was Arjuna's question. So Arjuna is not just an emotional problem. Arjuna was a very rational problem, an ethical problem, a spiritual problem. It's not emotionally he was tired, he was afraid. He was thinking it's kind of consequential thinking. He's thinking what will be the outcome. You see, whenever you initiate an action, you have to think of the outcome. What outcome is going to produce. So Arjuna thought about the outcome. And he was not happy with that. So it is not just an emotional breakdown that Arjuna experienced. That is a very shallow way of explaining that situation. It was a deep philosophical and existential problem that Arjuna, the human condition, the helplessness, where no solution, no intellectual solution is going to solve the problem. Therefore, we need a mentor in life. We have to admit our own inner conflicts. Let's not push it down. Admit, become vulnerable, become honest. And then there will be a third way for you. So what's that third way is what Bhagavad Gita is all about. You can call it a spiritual way. There is another way of saying that. There is a spiritual way. There is a third way. And the whole world is looking for the third way. It's neither America or China. It is India the third way, actually. Because these are the two options now, either America or China. But India is the third way. Yoga is the third way, not bhoga. So what is the third way? And for that, before you look into the third way, you have to go through this problem. Analyze the problem from different perspectives. Your psychic problem and the world problem, because they are all interrelated. You cannot solve your problem alone because you are situated in the world. So by analyzing your problem, you are analyzing the world problem, please. Don't feel that I can solve my problem and sit pretty. Don't say that I'll keep my house clean, the rest of the world can be unclean. So when you solve your problem, you will be solving the world problems. That's the third way we are talking. The path of spirituality, the path of integrity. So this crisis is an opportunity for us. It's a God-sent opportunity. This pandemic is a God-sent opportunity for us to sit down and reflect and think of a new solution to problems of the world. That is what Bhagavad Gita is all about. So let us see what is the third way. What is the solution that Bhagavad Gita offers to the human condition, to the world problems? That we will be seeing the next lecture and the Jnana Yoga. The next lecture will be the Jnana Yoga, the solution. What is the solution? I hope you become a little more reflective in life rather than reactive, rather than blaming everybody. Let's not even blame Trump. Trump is not the problem. There is a Trump in all of us. Let us accept that. The confusion is in everyone. Trump is only reflecting the confusion in the world. So let us be a little more reflective and see what's the third way. And I'll meet you next week again here and the third way, the solution to the human problem. And that Bhagavad Gita So we are going to reflect on the third way in the next lecture and see all of you next Saturday, 7 o'clock, 7 to 8 o'clock. So please spend 1 week of reflection. Now you have plenty of time to reflect, isn't it? Plenty of time to reflect. So reflect on your own inner confusion. What is going through it? Where are you stuck? So please reflect. And then the next lecture will become very meaningful to all of you. Thank you very much and have a nice time, nice week, and thank you once again.